Hi, I'm Carol Watson, and I am the Chief Thriver at Thrive.com. And thank you for joining us for our last Thrive Talk of the year. Happy holidays, everyone. Season's greetings. For those of you that have never been on a Thrive Talk with us, it's a little more casual than a webinar, a little bit more formal than just a simple chat, but it's really here to give you access to thought leaders and insiders that can help you thrive in your career. So we invite you to ask questions as we go along. If we don't get to your questions, our guests will be happy to answer your questions post the Thrive Talk. So we only have 20 minutes. We want to get going. So our guest today is a very special guest for us. It's our first time doing a career coach. So we have Garvin Reid, who's an assistant director in the Career Center at NYU, and we're really glad to have him here. His bio is on his post, so you can get an idea of his background. But want to join me in welcoming Garvin Reid to our Thrive Talk.
All right. Hello. Good afternoon, everyone. Happy lunch break, and hopefully everyone's having a great Friday.
Thank you, Garvin. Well, to kick us off, can you give us an idea of what your job is and what your role is there at NYU?
Okay, so here at NYU, I'm in the Watson Center for Career Development within the School of Professional Studies. So I do one-on-one career coaching with students ranging from undergraduates to predominantly graduate students. I do career coaching with international students, career changers, experienced professionals, and the questions run the gamut from how do I properly align myself for internship next semester to can you help me fix my resume to how do I have the conversation for a performance evaluation, internal interviewing, interview coaching, career fair, pitch. So it pretty much runs the gamut of everything from a college student to an experienced professional would want to know for their career. And that's what we do here for the one-on-one coaching, as well as event planning. So we have events on, we do panels. So we had a career changers panel, we had an international students career conference as well, and we do, of course, career fairs.
That's a lot to do, and I'm so glad that we're going to be able to kick off a whole series next year with Launchpad.
Definitely.
So, I want to understand what brought you into that role, and what do you love about it? How did you get involved in that as a career for yourself?
Great question. So I was always very cognizant of my career, and so if I can again go back to my undergraduate experience, I'm a graduate of Cheney University of Pennsylvania, class of 2008, which was a very tumultuous time for most of us 2008 graduates. My first job out of college was an internship where I interned at Black Enterprise, and I had a full-time offer on the table until the economy collapsed, and I want to say Lehman Brothers might have collapsed first, and that's what happened. So that offer was no longer there. So I went through a lot of odd jobs, part-time jobs, and then I finally landed my first job at Chubb Insurance Company. And throughout that whole time, I really honed and sharpened a lot of my career development skills that I use now. So pretty much networking is what got me every job past Black Enterprise. I also did a lot of informational interviews, especially when I considered going from business into higher education. Um, you name it, I did it in the realm of career dev, especially resume prep. So resumes and cover letter, I was sending out close to probably 100 or so resumes every month, and then I learned different ways to customize my resume, like what to highlight based on what job. So that was the only good side to a crazy economy. It taught me a lot about career development, and I took that into my actual career. And my first role in higher ed was admissions at Monroe College, where I also did some career development as well because we had students who were coming in for a very career-focused program. So I walked them through what it looks like in the classroom, but also after you graduate. Then at NYU, I did academic advising before in my current role. And same thing there. You had students who wanted to know from day one, okay, if I start my degree here, what does it look like on the other side after I graduate? So we had to walk them through career prep and what classes to take to properly align yourself to a good in your ideal career. So that's what got me to where I am now.
So,
We froze a little bit.
sense of, from the college to career perspective, what are you areas seeing that both students and their parents and anybody that knows college students, what are you seeing that comes up that where people are kind of, what are they missing in the process?
That's a good question. So the main thing that students are missing would be my office. Thankfully, not here at YU because we're like very visual. But at most schools, they are missing the career development office or career services or career assistance, whatever the office is called. That's what they're missing, or they wait till it's too late. You really and truly want to get into your career development office from probably the first 2 months of your freshman year if you're in undergrad, and or the first 2 months of your first semester if you're in grad school. Reason being is that this office should be pretty much paired along with your academic advising, because the main reason, or one of the main reasons why you are going to seek higher education, is to have either a better career, a change in your career, or have more impact in your career. So it's only right that you work with this office from the beginning. If you work with us in the end, yes, we can offer you help, but it's more like triage then, more so than create a vast career plan for you.
So imagine that every career center at every school is not as amazing as NYU's. What are some of the things that people can do if their career center is kind of like, not so great?
True. So there are tons of resources online. One of which I highly recommend everyone do, is have a LinkedIn page. So first, with your LinkedIn page, make sure you have a profile picture. It's recommended. I say it should be a definite. So have a profile picture, and pretty much your LinkedIn profile should mirror your resume, but create more of a narrative. Your LinkedIn profile is like your active resume, right? And then throughout LinkedIn, the reason why you're on that is that it's a wonderful tool for virtual networking. So you want to be active on your LinkedIn page. You want to have a LinkedIn update at least once a month, and you also want to reach out to folks on LinkedIn who are, let's say, for instance, you are a biology major and your aspiration is to become a marine biologist. So look on LinkedIn, especially within your alumni portal of LinkedIn, to see if there are any alumni from your school that are marine biologists. So now you can reach out to that person and say, hey, I see you're a graduate of ABC University. I'm in my second year there considering marine biology. I would love to get some advice on what does it look like outside the classroom. So by you doing this, you're now aligning yourself with one, a mentor, you're two, also having an informational interview, and three, that person may be a potential contact for an internship.
Well, thank you. That was great. I feel like we can spend a lot of time just on LinkedIn alone, so that'll be definitely a perfect topic for one of our Launchpad sessions next year. So one of the first questions that we got from the chat room is around informational interviews, which can be a whole nother conversation that we can spend a lot of time on next year. But just to give us a little taste to respond to the chat room, talk to us a little about informational interviews. What are some of the key things that we should be considering as college students to get them to get in? How do we prepare for them? Everything.
Yes. So the first thing to prepare for your informational interview is who do you want to have an informational interview with? So the first thing is to find someone who is either in a career that you're considering or in a career that you really want to be in, or may work for a company that you want to work for as well. Second step is have some go-to locations. Of course, Starbucks is great, but you might not want to pick the most busiest Starbucks in Midtown or wherever you are. You want to pick a coffee shop or someplace that's quiet but still productive per se. And when you are at your informational interview, I normally go with have 3 to 4 questions. Reason being is that people love talking about themselves, and every answer will be probably about a 15 to 20-minute response. My first go-to question is, so what got you into this career? Did you just wake up and say, I wanted to be a career coach, or what was your career path? So that question will probably have a 15 to 20-minute answer where they'll tell you, well, I actually started out as a insurance underwriter, and then this happened, and then that happened. And that answer will help you to see what you have to and what you may not have to do to have their actual title or to be in their role. Second question I also ask is, what do you like or what don't you like about your role and or the industry? I also ask, where do you see yourself in 5 to 10 years? Because if they say, well, I'm actually at the ceiling in this industry, so I'm considering going into library science, that now helps you see, okay, how far up can I go within this industry before I reach that ceiling? And then the fourth and final question is almost always, so do you have anyone else within your network that you would recommend me speak to?
That's awesome. So one of my pet peeves is when people pick locations that are not convenient to me and they want to meet with me. So
Yes.
I would add to that, make sure that you find out from the person that you're interviewing what's convenient for them, or if they have a favorite place. They may want to even
Yep.
treat you to something really fabulous. So the next
True. True.
question, how should they be preparing? How do you find or how do you encourage people to get an informational interview? It's hard to get people's attention nowadays. Any
It
thoughts
is.
about that?
It is. I would say the first thing would be any face-to-face networking that you do, that is a potential for informational interview. Actually, how I met Carol. I met Carol at a event. I got her business card, and my thing is a 24 to 48 hour follow-up time. So I did that, and then in my follow-up, that's when I wrote. It was like a two to three sentence email. Was, I would love to get on your calendar within the next 2 weeks for about half an hour or so. So it either starts with a face-to-face meeting. Two, consider your professors. They are a wealth of knowledge. If your school has, let's say, professors who are in the industry, that's even more so. If they're not in the industry, that's still a wealth of knowledge where they may have guest speakers who come in that they can put you in direct contact with. And then third would be any kind of virtual connections that you can make, whether it's through LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, anywhere, that you can meet someone and then send them a very targeted email saying, I would just love to get on your calendar for about half an hour within the next 2 weeks. You want to be very direct because you're going to give them a time span, and then also, like, how long do you want to meet with them?
That's
Normally that
awesome.
works.
Thank you. That's perfect. So imagine the person has no idea. They've gone through school, maybe changed a major one or two times, and they're getting close to the end. And they're, oh my God, I have no idea what I want to do. What do I do next? How do I even figure out my role in the industry and what the next position may be?
That is a good one. The first thing that I can think of would be to probably try doing a career assessment. That might help you to figure out where it is you might fit within this industry, or you may not even fit in the industry at all. Whether your school offers it for free, or there are some free ones online, there are some paid ones that are also very good and give you very in-depth results as well. And I'm still a big person on just speaking to someone that is in the actual industry that you are considering. You'll never know what it is to be a financial analyst unless you speak to someone that can walk you through their not only their day to day, but how does it look in those like different cycles. Like I know plenty of folks who said that they wanted to be accountants, and they're like, oh man, it's great until the busy season happens, and you're like, whoa, I have a family and a social life here, people. And it's like, no, that is the actual day to day of a accountant. So you really want to do your best while in school to reach out to industry professionals that are in the industries that you are considering. It does you so much more justice than you just believing that the textbook is giving you all of these skills, and when you get in there, you'll love it. Because I am a true testament to the fact that you may not love it, and it's still a learning experience, but who wants to go through it the hard way?
Yeah, definitely. It's we have many jobs. They say there's supposed to be about 5 different job career changes in a lifetime nowadays. People aren't staying with one. So it's a constant way that we have to get used to having these relationships.
Yeah, in my generation, it's like 8 to 10. It's crazy.
Yeah, right? So the student sees or reads about some great industry professional, sees them on LinkedIn, they're really shy.
Mhm.
They don't know how to make that first introduction. What do you write? What do you email? What should you say to get their attention?
Yes. So even whether it's virtually or in person, you really want to start to practice your pitch. So your pitch is like if you were in the elevator with the most ideal person to be in the elevator with for your career, what would you say? So you want to tell them who you are. My go-to word is passion. So if it were me, right, I would say, "Hi, my name is Garvin Reid. I work in the career development office here at NYU, and I'm very passionate about career development, both within higher education and my community. I'm actually happy to meet you today. By any chance, do you have time on your schedule to speak within the next month or so?" And you can say that same thing in an email where it's very targeted with who you are and why you want to meet with them and what benefit can they have from meeting you. So that benefit is, well, this person has passion. Maybe they're out of their passion now, and you're that person to spark that passion back in them. So that's my go-to pitch.
That's wonderful. So I know for a living you talk to students, you talk to industry professionals. What do the industry employers say that they want more of from students to hire them? What are they frustrated by?
That's a good question. I'm trying to think of one of the frustrations that I see. I would probably say that during the interview, they look great on paper, but then during the interview, they're not able to verbalize themselves. So especially if you're a career changer per se, and you have those solid transferable skills, but you're not able to verbalize it and verbalize it confidently. So your resume will get you to the interview, but you really have to practice and practice and practice to not only be able to verbalize what skills you have, but confidently verbalize what skills you have. So that's where my office comes in very handy, and pretty much dealing with any career coach, you want to be able to confidently verbalize that. And I think that's probably one of the biggest frustrations that we hear from employers now. Like, man, the person was great on paper, but when they came to the interview, they were not prepared, they didn't have the right questions, and they couldn't speak confidently about their skills. Nobody wants to take that kind of a risk on someone who doesn't meet those three qualifications.
That's a really good one, and that's something that we are planning to provide some value and some service for. I know, Garvin, that you do private career coaching
Hmm.
also, so people are able to reach out to you through the contacts on Thrive, and I'm sure you're easily found online.
I am.
So we can find you and get some of that one-on-one coaching help that people really need.
Definitely,
What
definitely.
are the frustrations that you're hearing from students about the process, and what are some of the things that you're doing to help them?
The biggest frustration is that employers are seeking experience and students are like, I don't have any experience. So the number one solution I have is that experience can be found anywhere. If you're on a college campus, experience comes in the form of any kind of leadership role that you've taken on in an extracurricular activity, or if you are the captain of a sports team, or maybe like a co-captain, or just being on the actual varsity team. Also, volunteering in either your campus community or your local neighborhood community. There is so much experience to be had there. If you are let's say, a PR major and you have no PR experience, but you do volunteer to do all of the publications for the Boys and Girls Club, and you also did the press release for their local or their like annual gala, that counts as actual experience. That can go as a portion on your resume under volunteer experience, and you can put Boys and Girls Club, and you can put that you were the volunteer public relations officer. Like this is actual experience that can be had without it being an actual internship. So I recommend to think about experience beyond working in an actual job. There's so many ways to gain experience, but students just have to begin to realize that there's more than one way to get it.
Awesome. So we're down to our last minute, and we always want to ask our guests, tell us what makes you thrive on a personal level.
What makes me thrive is I would say seeing the success in advice that I've given to students or friends or anyone, and then they actually take it and then they begin to thrive in their careers. I'm like, wow, that I knew it was gonna work, but just wow, it did work. So
That's
that
beautiful.
yes, that is one of the main things that helps me to thrive.
Awesome. So I know we're going to see more of you in 2015. We'd love to hear from the Thrive community what you want to hear more about and what you need. We're launching Launchpad for college to career transitioning next year. Look for more details. And we want to thank everyone for participating in Thrive Talks in 2014 and get ready for some really exciting topics coming up. We're kicking it off on January 9th with a topic on a social experiment called Fresh 15. So look for more details on that. So join me in thanking Garvin for a great Thrive Talk, and we want to wish everyone a fabulous holiday season. And thank you again for KBSP for the great office space in this last moment. And thank you, Garvin. Any parting words?
Thank you all as well, and I want to say thank you to my job, NYU Watchman Center, for allowing me this time in their conference room as well. I look forward to seeing you guys more next year. Have a very happy holidays and happy Friday.